Hello there, welcome to my podcast Songs of Soma. This is the second episode of the first season, Life and Death in the Multiverse. Although I said that I would talk about the idea of past life memories and the issues surrounding it, I believe it would be better to talk about the idea of reincarnation or rebirth first, before diving into anything else. Hence, in this episode I am going to talk about the core idea behind the notion of rebirth from religious and philosophical perspective, as well as define reincarnation from within these fields. Reincarnation as an idea about the fate of all living beings, states that people and perhaps objects go through a cycle of coming into existence, birth, remaining in the state of existence, life, ceasing to exist, death, and then going through the cycle again and again. Such a point of view on life and death can be observed in some religious and philosophical traditions, most prominently in Hinduism as the cycle of samsara, and in the Greek philosophy as the transmigration of souls. Conceptually speaking, reincarnation refers to a belief system which asserts the existence of a non-physical essence in all living beings, such as a soul, or even consciousness itself. This aspect of the living being is believed to be beyond the natural limitations of physical reality. Thus, after the death of a living being, this ethereal essence they possess not only continues to exist but it moves on into a new material body. This new life is determined by the actions, desires, mindset, and beliefs a being had in their past life. Thus, a being like human may find themselves in different situations that serve the cumulative nature of their past life. A human may be born in a better situation or in a worse one in their next life, based entirely on the sum total of the nature of their livelihood in their current life. Which could also suggest that a being with enough determination can guide their ethereal soul or consciousness towards the circumstances they may be born into in their next life, thereby giving rise to the spiritual implication and motivation to do good deeds and be a good person. And in a way, giving a person the control over their own destiny. There is also a belief present among the religious and philosophical conceptualization of reincarnation, that it is a process of gradual evolution of a consciousness that emerges from the singular source of creation that permeates among everything that exists. Thus, a low-level physical manifestation of consciousness, such as a rock, will gradually go through an infinite number of existences to finally become something like a human, who goes through the same cycle to become something more. Ultimately, the consciousness realizes the truth about the nature of reality and submits to the will of the singular source, thereby finding salvation in the process and prepares for whatever comes next. This conceptual framework describes the core of the idea of reincarnation despite the manner it may be packaged, that is to say, whether we refer to religion or we refer to philosophy. Additionally, both religious and philosophical discussions of the idea of rebirth put a major emphasis on finding salvation from the cycle, as the final objective of a being. Now coming back to Hinduism and the Greek philosophical traditions, and the emergence of the idea of rebirth in their principal thoughts. The concept of reincarnation in Hinduism emerges from the philosophical discussions found in the Upanishads, and is further elaborated in texts like Vasishtha's Yoga and the Gita. Whereas, the idea of transmigration or metempsychosis emerges in the Greek philosophical tradition with the philosophical developments brought by Pythagoras, Socrates, and Plato. In the context of transmigration, it is believed that any discussions regarding it succeeds the ideas initially presented by Pythagoras, as he is believed to be the one who birthed the concept within the Greek philosophical tradition. The major difference between the Hindu thought and the Greek thought being that, the Hindu tradition suggests that the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth is applicable to everyone and everything on all scales, from gods to the realms of existence. But the Greek tradition do not mention anything in regards to the realms of existence or the gods. There are other religious and philosophical traditions that delve into the concept similar to reincarnation from time to time. But I personally believe that none discuss it more prominently than the Hindus and the Greeks. In regards to my own belief system, I believe that reincarnation is one of the many truths of reality that, although hidden, is not difficult to grasp. The reality we live in is, in my opinion, truly infinite, where every potential is fulfilled. Hence, the potential of us coming into existence in one version of reality after we cease to exist in another version of it, I think is guaranteed. Therefore, it might be in our best interest to live a life in such a manner that our deeds guide us to a version of reality that not only matches our desires but also reflects our spiritual and personal evolution. All in all, I strongly believe that we go through many cycles of birth and death, and the other ideas that come with it, like the role of our own determination and seeking salvation from the cycle. I choose to leave them in the hands of the reality, or the Creator, who in itself is also the creation. As there are things that I cannot understand, but there aren't any that the Creator cannot understand. Yet, I do have opinions, and I will elaborate them in the upcoming episodes. Moving on, in the next episode I will be delving into the topic of the memory of our past lives. Or more precisely, the absence of any concrete memory from even one of our past lives if we have gone through a lot of them. Finally, thank you very much for listening, and I will catch you in the next episode.